Hey there, thanks for watching. Today we're working on what I'm calling bird blues, so the chord progression that Charlie Parker used on his famous tune Blues for Alice, but which also appears on tunes like Laird, Baird, Bluesette, Confirmation, Freight Train, and a bunch of others. And is also a really common substitution used by jazz musicians over a 12-bar blues. So I'll show you the tune straight up, and then we'll get straight into analysis of the chord progression. Okay, so we start on the 1 chord, just the tonic, nice and simple, and then we move straight to the key center of the 4 chord. So in this case, that is B flat. And within that key center, we have a sharp 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, finally landing on the 4. We then switch back to the key center of the tonic, so in this case F, and we have a 4, flat 7, 3, 6, flat 3, flat 6, so like a sidestepping chromatic progression. We then have a whole bar of 2, whole bar of 5, and then we finish on the 1. So it's actually quite simple. Now what I like to do when I'm approaching a tune like this is to, I guess you could call it, streamline the key centers. So what that essentially means is taking out extraneous chords, usually 2s or 5s, so that I emphasize the basic progression before putting those chords back in. So what I've done here is start on an F, so the 1, go straight to an A7, resolving on the relative minor, D minor. I've then got an F7 resolving to B flat, so we really emphasize that it is a blues, so we land on that 4 chord in bar 5. We then move to a B flat minor, followed by an A minor, followed by an A flat minor 7. So I'm trying to just get rid of the 2-5 movement and just emphasize the chromatic progression leading down to the 2 chord. So in this case, the G minor 7, the C7, and then the F. So what we'll do is we'll now play some exercises over this streamlined chord progression to get it under our fingers. And I'm going to use some exercises from a previous lesson of mine, also up on YouTube, on melodic cells or melodic shapes. I'll put a link to that down below. So you can use a bunch of other shapes to do these exercises if you like, but I'll show you the examples that I've come up with. Now that we've got that somewhat under our fingers, I'm going to demonstrate a solo using this streamlined chord progression. So we're still not adding in all the extra chords that we've taken out. We're just sort of soloing on what you could call the kind of skeleton or the essential harmonic framework. But here's an example of a solo over that. Okay, now it's time to bring back all the extra chords. So I'm going to use the same method. I'm going to use some different melodic shapes, but it's the same idea. So I'm going to play these exercises over the full chord progression. But the exercises that we used over the streamlined progression should really help us to bring out what's essential in this chord progression. Because if we delve straight into a tune that has a lot of chords, without doing that, I find I can get kind of distracted from the basic chord progression. I can get a little bit confused about what's essential and what's not, or a better way of putting that might be what's functional and what's not. So I find that streamlining thing is a really useful exercise to start off with. But now we've got all the extra chords, so we'll see how we go playing these shapes through the full chord progression. And finally, once we've done that, it's time to solo using the full chord progression. I've given you one short example here, but you know, Charlie Parker's solo is probably the best example that anyone's ever going to be able to give you. So I'll link you to a PDF of that down below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this has helped you a little. Any questions, please feel free to get in touch. I've linked those other lessons down below, just in case you'd like to go through those and use some different melodic shapes. There is a bit of assumed knowledge in a lesson like this, so it might help you to go back and figure those out if you haven't already. And I've also got sheet music, PDFs of all this stuff on my Patreon site. So I'll link that down below as well, and check that out if you feel like it. Thanks so much. See you next time.